My ex-wife is trying to get me back using our daughters. Sounds harmless, right? Well, not exactly. As much as I'd love to tell her to get lost and never see her again, we have 2 daughters and shared custody, so cutting her out completely just isn't possible, unless I want to lose my kids too. We married young, both just 20. We'd been together for 3 years before that. Our twin girls were born during our first year of marriage, but my ex had complications that made future pregnancies difficult. I didn't care. I was just happy she was alive, healthy, and that we already had 2 beautiful daughters to love. Our marriage lasted 9 years. It ended when I filed for divorce because of her affair. I have 0 tolerance for cheating. The moment I found out all the details, every ounce of love I had for her vanished. So no, this isn't a story about a man who can't move on. I moved on 7 years ago. I don't even hate her anymore. I just don't care. Unless it concerns our daughters, she's irrelevant to me. The problem is I'm the only one who's truly moved on. My ex, her family, and even our girls have all tried to reunite us, despite me making it crystal clear that it's never going to happen. Maybe the fact that I stayed single for a few years after the divorce gave them false hope. But honestly, I just didn't want to jump into another relationship right away. I needed to focus on raising my daughters and healing from what happened. Therapy, friends, and family helped me through it. My relationship with my girls is great. No drama, no yelling, no teenage rebellion yet. But there's one thing that complicates everything. They know their mother cheated. She told them herself about 3 years ago. Since then, she's been subtly manipulating them, trying to rewrite the past, even after I begged her countless times to stop. And lately, it's gotten worse. Because I started dating again. Clemence isn't my first girlfriend since the divorce, but she's the most serious one. She's 8 years younger than me. We were friends for years before dating, and eventually friendship turned into something deeper. I love her. Honestly, I didn't think I'd ever be able to love someone again after what my ex did to me, but I do. At first, my daughters didn't know much about our relationship, but soon they started coming home early, clearly trying to catch Clemence and me together. Nothing inappropriate was happening, but they'd roll their eyes, ask, "What is she doing here?" Or say things like, "That's not fair to Mum." It's like they think I'm dating just to hurt their mother. I've talked to them about it again and again, trying to explain that Clemence isn't some kind of punishment for their mum, but they don't listen. Clemence is patient and understanding. She says they just need time. I wish I could believe that, but time hasn't changed anything so far. I've tried reasoning with my ex too, asking her to stop feeding them false hope, but she never listens. I even considered filing for full custody once, but my lawyer said it could backfire. About a year ago, when my daughters asked why I didn't want to be with their mum again, I mentioned her affair. Turns out they already knew. She had told them years earlier. But somehow their mother twisted the story. Because they always respond with, "But she's been faithful ever since," I tell them. You can't be faithful to someone you're no longer with, but it never sinks in. What they don't understand, and I'll never explain to them in detail, is how painful that time was. They never saw how cold and distant their mother became toward me before the affair came to light. I'd try to show affection, but she pushed me away again and again until I realized something was wrong. I found out the truth through a close friend who helped me piece everything together. Our marriage had already died by then. For me, that betrayal was unforgivable. My daughters will never fully understand what it feels like when someone you love gives that love to someone else. That's why her regrets now mean nothing to me. Where was that love and remorse when it actually mattered? Update. It's been a long time since I first shared my story, but a lot has happened. My daughters accidentally found my post online. I had no idea they even visited that community. When I got home from work one day, they were both crying. They ran up to me, hugged me, and apologized over and over. Apparently, they read one of my old comments and finally learned the full extent of their mother's betrayal and how deeply it hurt me back then. It took time, but we healed together. I had nothing to forgive them for. They were just kids, manipulated by someone who should have known better. We went through family therapy, and after several months, the therapist said we no longer needed weekly sessions, just occasional check-ins. Now, my relationship with my daughters is stronger than ever. Their bond with their mother, on the other hand, has suffered. Understandably so, but I warned them not to let bitterness consume them. I forgave her long ago, and they should too in their own way. Since then, I've had one final talk with my ex. I made it clear, stop talking about getting back together. It's over permanently. Whether she finally accepted it, or my daughters just stopped listening to her, I don't know. But she hasn't bothered us since, and the best part? My daughters have grown close to Clemence. They talk, laugh, even ask her for advice. The first time I saw that, it warmed my heart more than I can describe. Not long after, Clemence surprised me with the help of my daughters. She proposed to me. We had a small intimate ceremony with close friends and family, and now we're expecting a baby. My daughters can't wait to meet their new sibling, and for the first time in years our home feels whole again.